The performances of Kylian Mbappe and of course Lionel Messi ensured that they were the talk of the World Cup, and that the 2022 tournament in Qatar will forever be associated with two of the game's biggest ever names. However, it is therefore easy to forget that a couple of wonderkids burst onto the scene in Qatar and took the tournament by the scruff of the neck, despite their tender year. One of these young stars, perhaps the pick of the bench, was England and Borussia Dortmund's Jude Bellingham. If you hadn't heard of the young midfield star before the tournament started, you certainly have now. And in our latest video, we'll be looking in depth at a player who will almost certainly be remembered as one of the game's most complete box-to-box midfielders. Bellingham started his career at his local side Birmingham City in the second tier of English football, becoming part of their under-8 squad, having been scouted at a very young age while playing for local non-league team Stourbridge. As with much of his career so far, Bellingham was always ahead of the curve as coaches could see what a talent he was set to become from a young age. He played for the Birmingham under-18s team at the age of 14, the under-23s when he was only 15, before predictably becoming the Blues' youngest ever first-team player. The exciting young midfielder made his debut for the first team in the first round of the EFL Cup against Portsmouth, having only turned 16 38 days later. And in doing so, he became the youngest player to ever play for Birmingham City's first team. 3 weeks later, Bellingham's league debut was on the horizon as he came on as a substitute in a heavy defeat away at Swansea City. But things got even better for the wonder kid in his home debut against Stoke City. Coming on as a substitute after half an hour, Bellingham stole the show as he scored the winner as the Blues came from 1-0 down to win 2-1 at St Andrews. And yes, you guessed it, at the age of 16 years and 63 days, he also became the youngest ever first-team goalscorer for Birmingham City. Not a bad start to his young career. Bellingham wasted no time in becoming a regular fixture in the City squad, despite his tender years. At the age of 16, he was a regular starter in the centre of midfield, and was even holding his own against legends like Wayne Rooney, while he was playing for then Championship outfit Derby County. Rooney recently spoke of his time facing a young Bellingham in the Championship, saying, "He actually man-marked me during the game. I think he was about 16, maybe just 17. And what I really liked about him is every time I passed the ball off, he'd leave a stud in on me." And I remember thinking, he's got something about him. As much as Birmingham City coaching staff knew that they had a gem on their hands, they knew that Bellingham would be attracting admiring glances from around the country, and even around Europe, and the more he put in those dazzling performances beyond his years, the harder it would be to keep hold of him for long. Indeed, it wouldn't be long until German giants Borussia Dortmund came knocking, and the ambitious Bellingham had no hesitation in following the Jadon Sancho blueprint in taking the gamble of swapping England for Germany at a very early stage in his blossoming career. And many in the football world will have seen Bellingham's decision to move abroad at the age of 17. However, Sancho's recent success as well as Dortmund's proven track record of bringing through exciting young talent will no doubt have been what swayed Bellingham into making the move, allegedly worth an initial £25 million, making him the most expensive 17-year-old in the history of the game. The move quickly proved to be a very good one for the young English star, who was thrust straight into the starting lineup for the BVB first team, just as he'd hoped when he'd made the move. Records continued to tumble for Bellingham in yellow and black, just as they had in blue as he started and scored in his first ever match to become Dortmund's youngest ever goalscorer in a competitive match at the age of 17 years and 77 days. Bellingham's league debut was soon to follow against Borussia Mönchengladbach, as he became an instant regular for the German giants, before becoming the youngest English player to ever feature in the Champions League at 17 years and 113 days. Bellingham had reached the pinnacle of the club game before even reaching his 18th birthday. Suddenly, the move to Germany at the age of 17 was looking more inspired than risky, as the young star continued to go from strength to strength. At 19, Bellingham is already in his third season as a crucial part of the Borussia Dortmund starting 11. He's made 76 Bundesliga appearances from midfield, scoring 7 and assisting 13, thanks to his box-to-box style, where he seems to appear everywhere on the field. His Champions League record is far more impressive, as the top stage of club football appears to be where Bellingham plays his best football, having scored 6 and assisted 5 in 23 appearances. And that Champions League form has naturally attracted the attention of the even bigger boys already. Dortmund already knew this was coming when they signed the gifted 17-year-old, but I bet they thought they'd keep him beyond his teens. However, when a teenager captains his club, especially one as big as Borussia Dortmund, the biggest giants are bound to come calling. After a blockbuster first half to the Bundesliga campaign and another typically brilliant Champions League group stage, Bellingham has admirers in the highest places, so his club coaches would be hoping for their sake that he endured an uncharacteristically quiet World Cup campaign. That was never going to happen, was it? Bellingham was undoubtedly the star of the England setup in his first ever senior World Cup tournament, becoming, you guessed it, the youngest England World Cup scorer when he opened the scoring in their opening 6-2 demolition of Iran. He went on to star as England reached the quarter-finals, putting in his most notable performance when he starred in an all-action display in the last 16 win against Senegal, assisting Jordan Henderson's opener before single-handedly creating Harry Kane's goal, cutting out an opposition attack before releasing Phil Foden after a lung-busting run through the middle of the field. As Borussia Dortmund probably feared, the Winter World Cup has provided the perfect shop window for Jude Bellingham, who is almost guaranteed to go for a fee of north of £100 million to one of Europe's giants, whether that be in the summer as was probably first anticipated or in January as feared. But where is Bellingham's most likely destination? Well, essentially, any of the top clubs in Europe with designs on winning their domestic league, as well as the Champions League, will be interested in the future England captain's signature, including the likes of Manchester City, Manchester United and Chelsea. But it looks like two particular giants are ready to do battle to become Bellingham's next club. Last season's Champions League finalist Liverpool, and the team that beat them in that final, the mighty Real Madrid. If he's to return to England, it appears that Liverpool is his most likely destination. But will they fork out the asking price, which is thought to be a staggering £175 million? The eagle-eyed among you will have noted that wherever Bellingham was stood in England's World Cup camp, Liverpool pairing Trent Alexander-Arnold and Jordan Henderson were never far away, and seemed to have struck up a genuine, yet no doubt tactical friendship with the young star. Bellingham has also previously stated that Liverpool legend Steven Gerrard was one of his heroes growing up, and his playing style is remarkably similar to that of Stevie G, who's widely thought of as Liverpool's greatest player of all time. With Liverpool's once all-conquering midfield starting to creak and age, a Bellingham transfer surely makes perfect sense. On the flip side, there's no doubt that Jude is going to the very top, and Real Madrid is the definition of the very top of the club game. Rumours are that Carlo Ancelotti is, of course, an admirer and would love to make Bellingham the next Galactico. With the old guard of Luka Modric, Casemiro and Toni Kroos making way in one way or another, Aurelien Tchouameni and Eduardo Camavinga have also joined as the next generation starts to take place, and Bellingham would complete a trio of young midfielders that would no doubt go on to dominate La Liga and European football. Wherever he ends up, Jude Bellingham is going to conquer world football. At the age of 19, it's clear that he's matured beyond his years, supremely talented and destined for the very top. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and see you next time.